if you're interested in alien romances, but the idea of like little green men or something a little bit different than humanoid form is not your thing, this is great because the aliens in this book and the series are alien, or like humanoid form. So I'm gonna try that sentence again because that was a whole mess. Hi everybody, my name is Kelsey and we're about to get very, very nerdy with my August TBR. Hi friends, I am possibly back. We are going to take this 1 week at a time. I have a plan, but we'll see what happens and what little newborn Peanut decides is going to happen, because most days that I would usually film, she has decided that it was more important to snuggle, and honestly, fair. So I have an idea of a plan, but we'll see. So if I come back once and then you don't see me for a couple of weeks, or if I do have 1 week where there is 2 videos and then the 1 week that's just one, it's going to be kind of flexible over the next little bit because we're discovering what this stage looks like. Plus I do have a job starting in a couple of months, or in about a month, which is going to change how things go. So I'm possibly back, but of course I had to come back with the TBR because you guys know I love TBRs, as well as my TBR game, which is one of my favorite things to film and edit and all that fun stuff on the channel. So we are here to talk about August's TBR. August is a little different this year because usually this month what would happen is we would have the magical readathon, but she has decided to push it off to September. She's got some personal stuff going on. Honestly, that makes me very happy because I have been reading a little bit here and there over the last couple of months, but it has not been anywhere astounding. So doing a readathon is probably not the best idea, and September feels like I'm gonna have more opportunity to listen to audiobooks and such, so I think that's going to be a better, for me personally, it's going to be a better month. So I'm really excited that she has pushed it off and is maybe thinking about leaving it in September from here on out. I did do my normal picks this month. I do have a baby nearby, so if you hear noises, enjoy them. But we are here to dive in. We're going to let the mood reading hit. So I was able to choose some things that the mood reading is letting me I'm interested in this month. But this is all very tentative, and a lot of these, you know, who knows, these might change, but this is kind of what I'm feeling at the moment, and we'll see how it goes. But that's really about it. It's been a couple of months, so I genuinely don't even remember what I read a couple of months ago, so I'm not even going to wrap that up. But let's just assume I didn't do well, because I'm thinking that's probably what happened. But let's just dive in. Let's just straight dive in to the first pick. Pick number 1. Oh, it's so tiny. Oh, read a book with Smut. So the first pick was a book that included smut in some way. So I have out from the library Saving Verico by Victoria Aveline, which is the 3rd book in the Cacanian series by her. The first one being Choosing Theo, which you guys know I have talked and raved about, and I just love it. So I'm trying to make my way through this. This I think is a really good series if you are someone who is slightly interested in alien romance, but is not a big fan of like little green men or aliens or monsters that are not humanoid. This is great because the aliens in this series are humanoid form, and so it really just feels like humans, but maybe a different species of humans is kind of the vibe from this series. But it takes place on a world, a different alien planet where a bunch of women from Earth have been taken and kind of plopped here, and it's the government. They were taken by like a rogue subsect. The population has not very many females in it, and so it's dwindling, and so they're trying to find races that will procreate with their race of people, and humans is one of them. So this one just happens to follow a girl named Lily and a guy named Verico. Lily is human, Verico is one of these aliens, and they all take place, if I remember correctly, it's all the same family. All the guys in this series, I think there's like 7 of them, are all brothers. So this is just the next one. I don't know what this one's about specifically. I just know that it takes place and it's the 2 of them, and she really wants to go back to Earth, and he's there to kind of convince her to stay, and I think it takes place in the wilderness. So that's what I know. But if it's anything like the last 2 books in the series that I've read, there will indeed be smut, and I have definitely enjoyed this series so far. All right, pick number 2. Alrighty, read a book ending in an even number. The next one is to read a book ending in an even number, so I have chosen Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Raybourn. This one I have actually started. I'm feeling this a little bit late, but I've started this one, and I have this audiobook from my library as well. It ends on like 3, I literally just looked at it, 348, so an even number. And this one follows 4 women who are part of this organization. It's called the Museum, and it's an organization of assassins, which sounds not great on the surface, but now that I've read it a little bit into it, they basically are people who are, it's a secret organization that does its own thing. Like, it's not part of the government or anything. It's like privately funded, but they kind of take justice into their own hands. It started with one of the world wars, and they went after Nazis specifically, and now they've kind of expanded into other terrorist groups and things like that. But it's these 4 women who were in their 60s, I want to say, who were part of this organization and worked as a group together, and they have retired. So they are going on kind of like a final destination cruise, the 4 of them, as like a retirement present from the organization, and all of a sudden some of the younger generation has shown up and is trying to kill them, because of course they can't let these 4 women who know all these secrets and know all these secret, like important information, have a life. So it's that, and they're trying to stay alive. It literally says here, it's kill or be killed, but they've been at this a long time, so it's kind of like old versus new generation stuff. So far, I'm enjoying it. We'll see. Again, not very far into it, but that one ends on an even number, and I've been really into a thriller mood lately, so that's just adding on to it. Plus, I'm pretty sure this was on my summer TBR, which I can promise you I've read like one thing off of. It's not going well. Pick number 3. Seasonal cover. Sweetheart, are you okay? The next one is a seasonal cover, and this one I've chosen a kind of small short story audiobook. I don't have it. I do have it from my library, again, which is Below Zero by Ali Hazelwood, which is one of the, I believe, 3 short stories that this author has written that's part of her STEM romance world. This one, I genuinely don't remember who it follows, but I believe they're enemies. Let me look it up. It says it will take the frosty terrain of the Arctic to show these rival scientists that their chemistry burns hot. And as you can see on the cover, they are cold, so that's giving me winter vibes, aka seasonal. So this will be a short novella. It's actually the 3rd if you look at them in order, but I don't think it really matters. It's just these 3 friends, and I think each novella follows one of them. So I'm wondering if the other 2 are going to show up in this one. But this is the one that gave me seasonal vibes, and it's cold. And here we are. It's also short. And I love Ali Hazelwood. And I did want to get to these novellas at some point, so I'm excited that this one was actually available, and that's kind of what swayed me to pick it up. But I'm thinking that this one will make me cold, which is honestly fine, because it is so hot outside. Like, it's ridiculously hot this year. So I'm excited about that. Pick number 4. Read a book set in a warm place. On the reverse side, the next prompt is set in a warm place. So I've chosen another like audiobook. Actually, all of these are audiobooks, but this one is an audiobook only, and that is The Honeymoon Crashers by Christina Lauren, which is kind of a epilogue story of sorts. It's a little bit of a novella. It's a little bit longer than most novellas, but it's not a full-length novel, if I'm correct. But it follows in the same vein as The Honeymooners. I had to think about what book it was, The Honeymooners. So it follows, in that book, we had our main character's sister who was getting married, and that didn't work out. And so in this book, it's that sister's romance. So obviously you would have had to have read the first book, because it does spoil the ending for that one, but it's set in Maui, I believe, which is obviously warm, and it's set there during the summer. So I'm excited to see the addition of this one. It's been quite a while. I think The Unhoneymooners, no, that's not true. I was going to say it's the first Christina Lauren book that I read, but that's not true. I read their YA book, autobiography, but it was the first adult book, like adult romance of theirs, that I read. So it's been a few, actually I read it, you know what? I read it on our honeymoon, and that was 5 years ago, so it's been a hot second. But I'm excited to dive back into this world, and I've seen this in a bunch of places, and it's a pretty short audiobook, so something I can squeeze in as well. Pick number 5. Oh, pick number 5. Yeah, not a fan. Oh, an A to Z book. The next one is an A to Z book, which you guys know means I pull up a random letter generator, generate a letter, and choose a book that starts with that. I don't include the. So I got C, as you can see here, and so I'm going to go with Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas, because I took a little bit of a break. I said I was going to dive into this one in like the next couple of months, and it's been a few months since I picked up the first 2 books in the series. So, first book and prequel. So this is the next one. It's not too long, but I do have all the audiobooks on Audible, so I'm excited to dive in. I don't know if I'll do a spoilery vlog of this. I know I've done a spoilery vlog of the entire ACOTAR series as well as the first 2 books in this, so let me know if you'd like to see that. I might squeeze that in this month if I can, but I'd like to dive into this a little bit more. I have the entire series except for the very last one, and I need to know, you know, like I know that the series starts one way and ends a different way, and I just feel like as a Sarah J. Maas fan, I need to have read this, and I need to know why everyone's obsessed with it. So this is the next one. I don't know what this one specifically follows. We follow our main character of the series so far, follows our main character Selena Sardathian, who is an assassin of sorts, and she is in a trial to become the king's assassin, or the king's champion. I can't remember what it was called, but she basically like was in a trial in the first book. Some other stuff was going on, and so this is the next step. I don't really remember. I don't know where we're gonna go, you know, but I've loved the rest of the series, so we're gonna try to fit this one in again and see if I can. You know, I fit this one on a different TBR, I think, a few months ago, so we'll see. We'll see if it happens. Number 6. Oh, a book with a foiled cover. The next one is a foiled cover, and this one honestly gave me the hardest time to figure out what I wanted to read for this, because I have a lot of fairy loot books, and most fairy loot books have foiled covers, so I was like, this will be super easy. I'll just pick a fairy loot book, and each fairy loot book I picked up that I wanted to read did not have a foiled cover. So I'm going in a different direction. So I picked Immortality by Dana Schwartz, which is the second in the love story series. The first one was Anatomy, which I really loved. It's just a duology, and I really loved it, and it does have foiling on the hardcover. As you can see, there is a brain there. The first book, it follows our main character Hazel. I mean, this one does too, but it follows our main character Hazel, who wants to be, I believe, a surgeon. She wants to be a doctor in the medical field, and because she's a woman, and I don't remember what year it's set in, but it's like ancient historical Edinburgh, and so at the time, of course, women were not allowed to be part of any doctor situation. So in this world, she basically creates this deal with a guy named Jack, who is a grave robber, and she's been accepted to take the test. She just can't go to the classes for the test, so she has to study all the stuff on her own. So Jack basically digs up dead bodies for her to study, and it's much more than that. There's a little bit of a fantastical twist to it, and this is just the next book. It does take place a little bit later, and it does take place in the court of King George III, and it follows Princess Charlotte. So we've got some royalty in here as well. But I loved the first one. It's very gothic, so I'm not sure I'm in the mood for gothic quite yet, but I did love the first one, so I'd love to get to this one at some point. But again, this is the one prompt that gave me like the hardest time, and I might change my mind later on. Book number 7. I'm going to say it's okay. Oh, a book that has royalty in it. Speaking of royalty, this one is a book that includes royalty. So, we'll see. This one's a thick boy, but I've put Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco, which is the first in her new series that's set in the same world as the Kingdom of the Wicked series, and it follows a bunch of princes from hell. There's your royalty. This one specifically, I think, follows Envy. Yes, Envy and another woman. So, it's the same world, different story. There is a second one in this series, and I don't remember which prince it follows, but it follows a different prince as well. I've loved I loved The Kingdom of the Wicked so much, and I've been putting this one off because I'm genuinely scared I'm not going to like it. But again, it's pretty thick, but I'm very invested in this world. So we'll see. We'll see if this is the right time. I don't know. I don't know what we're getting into. I really don't know that much about it because honestly, I did not need to know a whole lot about it because I love this author so much. So princes are involved. Royalty is involved. This is the one that I've chosen. And finally, number 8. Oh goodness, I'm dropping everything. Okay. This is, oh good, I have another book. So that's not a prompt, but now I have 9. Okay, solid. So I forgot I had this prompt in here, which just means we add another prompt. So instead of 8 prompts, we have 9 prompts. Yay. Just kidding, number 8 now. Uh-oh, okay. Yeah. Read a book featuring mental health representation. This one is featuring mental health. This one, I don't know if it counts, but I'm going to say it does and then change my mind later if I need to. Also, this is another really thick one, but it's Beautiful Nightmares by Katie Sutton, which is the 4th in the Fortuna Sworn series. There's a lot of trauma involved in this series, especially from our main character Fortuna's perspective, and with that comes a lot of anxiety and depression. So I'm thinking that'll count. It's never stated like specifically if there's stuff going on for her, but just based on the last couple of books, I would consider this a mental health representation. I consider like trauma to be part of mental health in a way. So here we go. But the first book follows Fortuna, whose brother 2 years before the book starts, or the series starts, goes missing, and everyone is convinced he's dead. She is not. She's convinced that he is still alive, and she's still searching for him. And one day this guy shows up, who is Faye. He says, I can help you figure out what happened to your brother. I kind of know some stuff, but you have to marry me. And she agrees. And it just stems from there. She is magical. She's a nightmare, which means she has the ability to know what your greatest fear is and use it against you. And there's a bunch of different magical creatures in this series. And this is just the next one. It is thick. And I'm afraid I put this off because I have an idea. I know what the romance is going to do in this one. And I don't know if I like it, but I still like the series and I want to read it. So I have it on there, but it's thick. So we'll see. And a surprise number 9, hopefully the end. Let's see here. It'd be really nice if you were nice to me. Awesome. Read a short book under 300 pages. I can do that. And the last one is nice to me, and that's to read a short book or a book under 300 pages. I've decided to go with, I usually use like graphic novels and stuff for this, so we might, again, change my mind later. But right now I have Mr. Malcolm's List. This is by Suzanne Elaine. This is actually an arc that I got a long time ago, but this is under 300 pages. It's like 250, 244. And it's a historical romance. I've read stuff by this author that I've really enjoyed. It has been turned into a movie, and I refuse to watch it until I've read this book. I do have the audiobook on my Audible for some reason I do. But it's like this guy has like this list that makes an honorable wife. And so she has been pulled in by a friend to kind of like make fun of him, and I believe it's their romance of sorts. Super short. I've loved, again, other things by this author, so I'm excited to see how this one goes. And I've literally had this for a very long time, and I've been putting it off and putting it off, and we're not going to do that. We're going to read it this time. So there we go. And that's it. That is a look at my tentative plans. I have some arcs, I've got a couple of arcs that I probably need to fit in. And again, we'll see what the mood reading does, because it is strong right now. But that is my plan for now. So let me know what you guys think. If you've read any of the books in this video, as always, let me know, as well as like what your plans for August are. Do you have mood reading? Are you a seasonal reader? Have you started your fall read yet? I have not. I'm waiting for September to really get into the mood because it's too warm. But that's the vibe right now. So tell me what you guys have been reading. I've been away for a little bit, so tell me all the things. How's your reading going? How's your life? Let's chat. If you liked this video, and I very much hope that you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you'd be part of this awesome growing family. I've also got all my social media down there, as well as other fun bookish links, so don't forget to check all that out, and I will see you guys in my next video, whenever that is. Bye!